Hey guys, so I'm back with another video, and today we have a $12.95 candle sale rundown type of video. So basically all the candles from the beginning of the year till now. There is supposed to be the big event now, so I guess when it's $12.95, that's the big sale price that was announced today, and I believe it's for the 18th to the 20th, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is the $12.95 sale, which is definitely better than the 10 off deal. So like if you get a candle like this, that'll be like $19.50, but we can get it for $12.95 instead. And then if you do have the 25% off mailer coupon, that brings them down to like $9.71 or something. So definitely a much better deal than the usual promo price. So we're good to go there. But of course, only if you have the 25% off coupon. But even then, $13 isn't terrible. Yes. It's supposed to be in stores and online, and we're hoping, fingers crossed, that there's new candles that are supposed to come out with it, because if it's just the same old candles that have been out forever and ever, then they can keep the $12.95 candles, because I have really no desire of buying any more of them. So of course you could always do the thing of, if they don't bring the new ones out, you could buy a few of them and then have them for exchanges later on per their 100% satisfaction guarantee policy. So just putting that out there. But in preparation, it seems kind of weird that like you prepare for a sale, but that's just the way the world works. To prepare for the sale, I have a video of basically all the candles that I'm going to run down that I've burned. I think I've done reviews on most of them, not me, some of them, but just I burned a lot of them further down. So if you want to kind of know like further thoughts on them, here is the rundown for that. And without further ado, let me get into it. So the first collection we have is the fancy glass lid one, which is the $29.50. So $12.95 is definitely a better deal for this. You probably won't be able to find this one because it's been gone in many places, but it is the toasted coconut eclair right here. This one like flew off the shelf and never replenished again. This is the fresh baked donut, milk chocolate frosting, and toasted coconut flakes. This one I burned down. It performs exactly like 100% the same as toasted coconut s'mores, which now remembering how that one performed and how this one also performs, I can see why I didn't stock up on this one, even though I love the fragrance to pieces, but it's kind of like the performance puts a bummer on it, or a damper on it. What happens is by the mid-range point, it always duds out. It has a thick rope-like wicks that soot like crazy at the beginning, but then they soot inwards afterwards, and they get sort of black and murky. And the wax color definitely does turn like a little bit more gray colored. And the scent also starts smelling kind of waxy and just kind of spent, and not as pure as it did initially. But the fragrance itself is still quite delicious. It's kind of like the jet puffed marshmallows, the toasted coconut version is what I always talk about. There's a nice dry, like toasted coconut type of fragrance mixed with a creamy marshmallow and a slight like graham cracker crumbliness. It also kind of smells like an almond joy. Is that what it is? With like the chocolate and the coconut and like a nutty fragrance in there. You get all of that in there. The chocolate isn't super strong or prominent, but it's still definitely a dash of chocolate in there that kind of evokes like an almond joy type of experience. But you do get a bakery component. It's like a crumbly graham cracker mixed with a toasted coconut that's really scrumptious, and it's not the usual grody, like crayony, waxy, icky coconut that we've seen from many other Bath & Body Works coconut candles. It's one of the most like delicious kind of like a bakery coconut that I really enjoy. The throw is like a medium to a strong. Once again, performs great at the beginning, but then it does start nubbing out, as you can see right there. So kind of like but that candle's been gone in many places for a while, so you probably won't be able to find it anyways. The next one we have is the Springtime in Paris one right here, and that's what that looks like. This one is soft peach, lotus blossom, and fresh bergamot. This one is the same thing. It has the thick rope-like wicks that soot like crazy at the beginning, and then they soot inwards mid-range. It duds out, and you get these tiny little nubby wicks, and the wax like changes color and everything, as you can see here. This fragrance I'm just like kind of one and done too. It's kind of like this really apple shampoo type of like body care synthetic floral fragrance that doesn't smell like anything that would actually exist in the wild. I was saying it was like more like springtime in a Bath & Body Works store rather than actually springtime in Paris with true flowers blooming out in the gardens or whatever. Yeah, I get like a appley, peachy type of fragrance in there that gives it like this soapy shampoo vibe, and then like a vague clean spa-like floral, and that's kind of what this smells like. It has like a very much like a apple flower type of fragrance to it, but then sometimes when I burn it, I do get a little bit more of a like herbal, almost like a peach lavender blend to it too. It doesn't say lavender in here, but usually lavender is in a lot of like French fragrances that I wouldn't put it past it that maybe there's a slight herbal lavender quality chilling in the background as well. And I get that because it gets that like plasticky quality that lavender often has. So it's kind of like those like peach lavender fragrances or like an apple lavender kind of fragrance in there as well, that I feel like there's a little bit of lavender going on in here as well, because the more I burn it, the more I pick that up. But yeah, it's kind of like an apple peach shampoo with a clean floral and a herbal lavender twist to it. But there's just something like distinctly synthetic about it that I don't totally love, but it is what it is. It's total one and done. It's actually quite strong though. This one's very strong. I put it in here even when it's like dudding out, it like fills the space completely. It's not a heavy fragrance, but it travels very far into the room, so I can't really complain about that. But yeah, the soot and the like murkiness at the mid-range is a little bit of a downfall on this one, but I'm like past the mid-range point on that one, so I'll just try to finish this one up and be done with it. That's Springtime in Paris right there. Not a repurchase for me personally. We then had like the bake shop type of collection with lavender, marshmallow, and pink lilac and vanilla. The one that I bought is Prosecco and Peaches right here, and it's actually burning in the background right now because I'm trying to finish that one. That one, very strong. It has a very strong like peach rings type of fragrance to it, and there's a slight aerosol component that comes from like the Prosecco note, so to speak. There's just a very, very sweet peach rings peach that has a little bit of like an aerosol, like effervescent bite to it. And that's what Prosecco and Peaches smells like. It doesn't quite get that like plasticky trash bag peaches that we get in Georgia Peach or Market Peach. So we're good to go there. You just want a really, really strong, like balls to the walls peach ring fragrance. Then Prosecco and Peaches would be the one that you want to check out. It was sooty at the beginning. It dudded out mid-range, like basically every single Bath & Body Works candle nowadays. Dudded out mid-range. And then I just let it go forever, even when it like duds out and the flames get really puny, and it kind of self-corrected, and I think it's actually doing quite well now towards the end. It's kind of like they get sooty at the beginning, and then the mid-range point is always tiny nubby flames, but then once the wax pool is able to liquefy and hit all the way to the bottom of the wick clips, that's kind of when the flames for like trigger something and like lets the like, I don't know, the candle pull out better or burn better. That once it hits the wick clips and you can see the wick clips at the bottom of the wax pool and it's totally liquefied, that's when it usually like autocorrects again, and then you're good to go down to the rest of the bottom. So it's kind of like a pattern I've noticed with it. But that was Prosecco and Peaches right there. I'm not a huge fan of peach fragrances, so that's totally a one and done for me, but it was strong, quite strong, and there wasn't anything necessarily offensive about it. So that was Prosecco and Peaches. Then we have Positively Sweet Dark Chocolate Truffles, and that's what that looks like. This one's like the standout one that was really good. This one's rich chocolate, gooey butterscotch, and candied cherry. I just don't know if we'll be able to find this one because I feel like the Valentine's one's kind of just sold off really quickly. This one, you know, soot's like crazy at the beginning. It's still doing okay now, and that's what that looks like. This actually smells like truly a box of chocolates, in which you get like a very ooey gooey chocolate fragrance that's different from like the hot cocoa and cream, where it's more powdery and dark. It's a little bit more just like a creamy like milk chocolate outer shell. You get like a creaminess to it that I really enjoy, and it's quite sweet. It's mixed with like a caramel butterscotch ooey gooey sweetness in there as well, that you could imagine from it being a caramel or butterscotch type of like truffle. You also get like a cherry note in there, which is also very similar to like a almond type of amaretto type of feel to it as well. So you can imagine both a cherry truffle as well as a like almond truffle in there. And you just mix all that together, and there's a slight nuttiness with the very sweet butterscotch caramel fragrance, but then also the chocolate like truffle outer, and it's actually quite nice. It's actually this definite like uniqueness to it, where it's not just a run-of-the-mill chocolate fragrances. Like they've done quite a number of run-of-the-mill chocolate fragrances, and this one is not actually one of them. It's strong, and it's just like this beautiful, awesome like Valentine's Day chocolate treat fragrance, and I actually really enjoy it. So that was the Positively Sweet Dark Chocolate Truffles. I don't need to buy another one, but if there was one that I would like contemplate buying another one of, this could potentially be that. So that was the Positively Sweet one right there. So 2 thumbs up on that one. That one's like the one standout of this collection. Okay, so that was that collection. Now we're gonna go actually rewind a little bit to some of the earlier releases that we started seeing during Candle Day, but then are still available now into the spring. We have this collection right here. The only one that I have is Blueberry Pie. This one is Juicy Blueberries, Flaky Crust, and Sugar Crystals. This one, really took a turn for the worst. Oh, like I just gag when I smell this one when it's burning now. It smells just like blueberry pie always has, which also smells very similar to ice cranberry scone. It's that awesome, super heavy brown sugar and a little bit of butter, like crusty, flaky pie crust note that's so strong and prominent in this, mixed with a blueberry filling that's very warm and like bakery-ish. Kind of imagine like a hot Pop-Tart coming out of the oven. You get that like oozing blueberry filling mixed with that brown sugar crust note, and it's quite delicious. It's a great fragrance, definitely like an iconic BBW blueberry bakery fragrance that I really enjoy, but the first version burned so hot that it was so like crazy that was really problematic. This version was okay for the first half, but it has the thick rope-like wicks that totally nub out and dead out on you mid-range, as you can see here. And the wax color even turns to like this grody color. And then it starts smelling really burnt and just nasty, and like this weird burnt buttery brown sugar crust note becomes really prominent, and you just kind of like want to gag, and it just feels like a stomach ache is coming on when you go to burn it now at the mid-range point. That it's not great, and that's what really turned me off of ice cranberry scone, is the same exact thing. They have like a thick rope-like wicks that so like crazy at the beginning, and they dud out the mid-range, and then it smells burnt and nasty and spent, and that's exactly what blueberry pie did. So this one's kind of like hard to recommend or like say that it's stock-up worthy, because you're really only going to get half of a candle that performs well. Otherwise, you'll have to put it on a candle warmer or under a candle lamp to get more satisfaction out of this. Great fragrance, but the performance on the mid-range gets really grody and murky. Still a strong enough fragrance, like I didn't have any issues smelling it, so we're good to go there, but the performance is kind of questionable toward the mid-range point, so just keep that in mind if you plan on like hoarding this one. So that was the blueberry pie right there. Still a great fragrance nonetheless. We then have one of the very few like true blue florals, and this one kind of got overlooked because I got it during Candle Day, so I still lump it with like December rather than a current spring fragrance, but it is available right now, and that is Tea Rose right here. And this one is Sweet Pink Rose Petals, Fresh White Tea, and Dewy Greens. This one is excellent. Oh my gosh, I feel like I kind of sleep on this one just because I like bought it a while back, but it's like, you know, maybe I could get another one of this one, but I still have the old one from the original release, so I probably don't. But beautiful, like awesome floral fragrance. It's very hard to come by a like true blue floral nowadays at Bath & Body Works that like this is kind of like your very few shots at it. Beautiful, like feminine, floral, perfumey, like quintessential rose fragrance, but it's mixed with the white tea and ginger fragrance that they have as well. So it gives it like this slight modern, like tea-like gingery zing and twist to it that gives it a slight more spa vibe to the traditional granny rose floral fragrance that people refer to. You get a combination of both. And it's just really like calming and soothing and delicious, but also very floral at the same time. It's just perfect for spring, and it really is like truly like tea plus rose, and it has a pretty good throw as well. I would definitely say medium to strong, and this one hasn't given me any issues in terms of like sooting or dudding out, so we're good to go there. So that was Tea Rose right there. That one's has already have been a repurchase. I bought two when it came out the first year, and then that's my third one. We then have Wildberry Jam Donut from this collection. That's what that looks like. And this one is Sweet Wildberry Jam Powdered Donut and Brown Sugar Crumble. This candle always gives me so many issues too. The original version just sooted like crazy. The second version, that was the thick rope-like wicks, in the online exclusive collection, just dudded out like no one's business. It had the thick rope-like wicks, and it just like totally nubbed out the mid-range point. It smells so burnt and disgusting and just like spent paraffin wax. Gross. Then we have this version, and this one doesn't dud out at mid-range, but now it's like sooty AF. Like, oh my God, there's just like so much soot around the side of the jar. It's really hard to control the soot on this one. Just so much soot coming out of this. So that's why I kind of like don't burn it now, because I'm like, what do I do? And a lot of these BBW candles, it's like if they soot at the mid-range point, it's like you can either just let them soot and just deal with the soot, which is not ideal, or you trim them, but then they dud out because you trim them too short, and it's just like you can never win with these candles. So, but in any case, this is another delicious, awesome, iconic BBW bakery fragrance. It really does smell just like a jam-filled donut. Like you get the raspberry jam in there. Like you can even get like the seeds and just like the ooey gooey sugary awesomeness of the raspberry jam in there. But then you get like the like yeasty, powdery donut like outside of it, and you get all that mixed together. It is somewhat similar to blueberry pie and berry waffle cone, and they all share that same like brown sugar type of bakery note in there. But I really enjoy that. It's authentic. It's just delicious and it's awesome. But once again, the the sooting and the dudding issue on this candle is always a big downfall for it. So this one still smells quite strong and it burns fine at the beginning, but then it gets really sooty at the mid-range point. So that's kind of why I stopped burning it, but still a great fragrance nonetheless. So that was Wildberry Jam Donut right there. Next, we have the one low one I bought from this collection. It's Sweet Berry Peony right here. Strange collection, this one. Peony petals, sweet strawberries, and juicy pomegranate. This just forever smells like strawberry mochi to me, which I did a whole explanation in my original review, so I'm not gonna go over it again, but it's like a Japanese rice flour treat that usually has like a strawberry jam in it and like the mochi outering, and you get like the powder on top of it. It smells legit like that. It's just a weird like acquired fragrance, but basically you get kind of like this pomegranate plus berry, like what is it, fruit by the foot, or like a fruit roll up, like a pressed jammy candy confectionery smell is what I get the most. But then it's mixed with like this sort of like dry powdery texture of a vague floral, and it's just a very strange combination that I just really don't understand what the goal or the aim was of this fragrance. It's like this perfumey berry fragrance, but there's such a sweet emphasis on like that sweet berry that the peony gets kind of like muddied, but there's still enough like of a weirdness to this that it doesn't just smell like a straight confectionery berry fragrance. Strong fragrance nonetheless. It does have the thick rope-like wick, so it does soot inwards, as you can see here, and it gets sort of black and murky. So definitely watch the performance. But total one and done, just a strange fragrance. It's not bad, and sometimes I can get like slightly in the mood for it, but I really don't know what they were like hoping or going with this one. So that was Sweet Berry Peony right there. I wish I had a little bit more like enthusiasm or something else like more exciting to say about these candles, but this spring has just been very, very, very lackluster. I just like the direction and just like lack of direction rather, and just like the same old repackages and like grocery store fragrances just haven't really done so much for me in terms of like lighting up my fire. So, this one is good though. I really enjoyed this one, even though this one's still really polarizing in the candle community. And that's Sprinkled Birthday Cake right here. This one is Rainbow Sprinkles, Whipped Vanilla Frosting, and Fluffy Cake. Oh my God, I still love this one. This one has still been burning pretty okay. It smells just like a birthday cake that's been chilled in the refrigerator. Like you made the birthday cake and then you put the like frosting or the cream around it, and then you put it into the fridge, and then you took it out of the fridge and you got like this cooling sensation, like a cool white cake with the frosting on top of it. But then you get a hint of like a strawberry sweetness in there that smells like the strawberries that have been sliced that's then also been like refrigerating in the refrigerator. And it just smells like that awesome birthday cake experience. And it smells great. It gets a little bit warmer when you go to burn it. That's not quite as like refrigerated, but still neither here nor there. It still smells like a sprinkled birthday cake. It's just like this awesome, scrumptious, delicious, like basic vanilla fragrance, but it's like one step above basic, where it's not just like vanilla bean marshmallow buttercream icing. It's like actually really smells like you're cutting into a birthday cake, and I really enjoy that. It does soot if you let it go too long, so you have to really watch it. This one's one of those where it's like if you trim it too much, it's gonna nub out, but if you don't trim it enough, then it's gonna soot like crazy. Just that usual like battle with Bath and Body Works candle. But mine has been strong. I can totally smell it even in this room, in my bedroom. I've really had no issues with it, other than it was like sooting a lot one burn, but I just had to kind of like keep playing with the wicks to be able to get it to not soot. So that was Sprinkled Birthday Cake. Yeah, still smells delicious. I love this. If that one didn't soot so much, I would consider buying another one, but one and done for me at this point, even though the fragrance, that and the chocolate one are like the top two at this point. And I think the other one was the Champagne Margarita, which is Frosted Moscow Mule, which I already have, so I don't really need to talk about that one. Moving on to the, oh my gosh, that snooze fest of a tropical collection, just like nothing good in there. Tropical Island Colada, like these are truly the grocery store candles of grocery store candles. It's just like the fragrances are so uninspiring. This is pineapple juice, coconut milk, sweet vanilla, and crushed ice. This just, oh my God, it like just got so sooty and grody at the mid-range point. Like when this is lit up, it looks like a black wax pool, even though the wax is supposed to be white. This had the massive core wicks that just soot like crazy at the beginning, and then they sort of like fizzle out, and then they soot inwards, and then it just gets like really grody and nasty. And the wicks have kind of like nubbed out, as you can see right there, and the wax color has changed. The scent has still stayed pretty much the same. It's just a very medium fragrance. You just get like a very sweet pineapple with a hint of a creamy like coconut milk type of vanilla action in there. And it's just like the most basic pineapple coconut fragrance ever out there on the market, and that's what Tropical Island Colada is. Nothing really to write home about. It's just very inoffensive and very pleasant, and it's kind of like, you know, when I'm at like having a like fun hot day out in the sun or whatever, and I come back and I kind of want something like vaguely tropical to match that like a vibe, then I'll burn this one. But other than that, just really nothing else to talk about this. So Tropical Island Colada right there. Then we have Beach Weather. I've kind of grown a little bit warmer to this one. This one is Sun-Dry Sandalwood, Island Coconut, Breezy Palm Trees, and Crashing Waves. I was speculating that this smelled like Linen Shores, and I actually smelled a friend's Linen Shores and compared the two side by side, and even though he claims they're two different fragrances, they are like 90 to 95% the same in my opinion, like so similar. Like this and Linen Shores are very, very, very close in my opinion. I couldn't do a blind test, but they were able to do a blind test and know that the two were different, so maybe they have a better nose than I do. But in any case, it smells so much like Linen Shores. So if you do enjoy Linen Shores, I would highly recommend checking this one out because it's very similar to me. But you get like a nuzzly, woodsy fragrance that has like a slight crispness and a saltiness to it, mixed with like, so basically like a kind of sandalwood, like a salted sandalwood is what I get from it. You get like a salty air fragrance, mixed with a slightly like dirty, gritty, outdoors, like sandy sandalwood fragrance. And it's kind of like the same like dirty grittiness of sandalwood that you get from like coconut sandalwood or white pumpkin oakwood or Japanese cherry blossom, mixed with a salty component to it. And the saltiness also has a slight clean vibe to it and a slight floralness that could evoke like a linen type of fragrance. So I could see why it's kind of like Linen Shores, but yeah, very similar to that, but also reminds me a whole lot of the sea salt and sandalwood fragrance from a while back before. It's nice in the sense that it is different from all the other ones. It's not quite as floral as I would hope it to be, but it's still like a different enough fragrance from the usual boring, like tropical fruity generic grocery store candles they've been putting out that I kind of appreciate this one when I just want something that's like different. And so that's Beach Weather right there. Quite strong as well. Actually stronger than I like thought it would be based on cold sniff, because the cold sniff was quite light, but I think when I go to burn it, I can actually smell it quite adequately. So Beach Weather right there. Moving on to the two candles that I just bought, we have Mahogany Coconut right here in the Luminary collection. I just been jonesing for coconut fragrances, and I was like, let me try this one again. It's creamy coconut, mahogany woods, and English lavender. This one has like the curling wicks on it. They've been doing great. Super strong throw. Actually really enjoy this one. Once again, Mahogany Vanilla gave me a greater appreciation for the mahogany blend. And this is kind of like Mahogany Vanilla, but they shoved coconut in it. It's like Tiki Beach mixed with Mahogany Teakwood. Everyone knows what this smells like. Performs strong, smells and throws strong as well. Really have no qualms with that. It's just like a nice, like, I guess, more sophisticated woodsy coconut fragrance. So I do enjoy Mahogany Coconut right there, and that's that. It's kind of like if I want something tropical without it being so obviously like pina colada, like coconut cream pie, then I go to that. We then have the one like new one from this collection that just came out. That's Cozy Linen and Nectarine. This is White Nectarine, Fresh Linens, Warm Sandalwood, and Sweet Musk. This is the 2022 thick rope-like wick version of it. And that's what that looks like. Very light fragrance, like incredibly light. Gets totally lost in this open concept area, and I can only smell it to maybe like a 3 to possibly a 4 in a smaller bedroom. Very light, which I was kind of bummed about, but you can still smell it enough, and it's still detectable in the background. I think I'd still rather have like a lightness of this rather than the intensity of Laundry Day, which is like just really gags me out and it gives me a headache that I can't burn it for more than an hour. So it's kind of a trade-off there. Very just subtle, light linen fragrance in there. It has like that usual like laundry detergent, kind of like been in the dryer type of warmth in there as well. Mixed with a slight like mature feminine body care undertone that comes from the like, what was it, the musk and the sandalwood? Yeah, absolutely. And then it finishes off with like a slight sweet nectarine, and that sweet nectarine is what gives it a slightly like different twist from all the other ones. There's a slight fruitiness to it that makes it a little bit lighter and a little bit less of that heavy, hot, perfumey, like dryer sheets laundry detergent fragrance. It kind of like tones that down. But there's also a slight, like, it reminds me of there was that green tea nectarine candle out many years ago. There's a slight like herbal tea vibe to this mixed with the nectarine that it kind of reminds me of like the Nest apricot tea or like a peachy tea type of fragrance. There's a slight like tea component to this that I don't mind as well. But it's very like this just I don't know, fresh, clean, but slightly uplifting and sweet herbal spa linen fragrance. But it's kind of pretty straightforward as to what the name implies. So yeah, just the biggest downfall is that it's very, 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 very light. So that's Cozy Linen and Nectarine right there. I think because there is an added nectarine note in there, I do kind of like enjoy that one a little bit more than the straight up like heavy linen fragrances. So that's it for all the candles that I've burned and bought myself. And I just want to do 2 honorable mentions, which were online exclusive, which I've gotten a few questions about. And that is there's, I believe, either a Rainforest Gardenia or White Gardenia out now, but that's been out forever, so I don't pick it up anymore. But if you're new to the fandom, then you don't know what it smells like. So I'm just going to reference the Rainforest Gardenia from this version right here, one of the earlier versions from 2015. This is White Gardenia, Fresh Green Bamboo, and Sweet Apple Water. Excellent. Oh my God, this one like came out that first year in that Brazilian collection and it just gets repackaged to death and it's out all the time. Yeah, it's like White Gardenia or Rainforest Gardenia, I think is what it comes out as. It's very strong, heady, juicy, white, drippy floral, which I love my white floral, so I actually really do enjoy this one. Sometimes like at least this version is so strong that I have to blow it out after 1 or 2 hours because it's like really gets to you. Can't vouch for the current version because a lot of times they do water down fragrances, but based on the fragrance alone, you do get a Gardenia. It's not super realistic as to what a true Gardenia smells like in the wild. A true Gardenia has a little bit more of this velvety vanilla softness in the background mixed with the essence of what this is getting. This one's a little bit more harsh and green and like has that drippy apple water and bamboo note. There's a little bit more of like a grassy green intensity to Rainforest Gardenia that it's not quite the same as a true Gardenia out in the wild, but it's still a very like, if I were to smell this, I would still go to Gardenia. It's still a very like distinctly Gardenia fragrance, but it has enough of those like green notes in there that it takes off a little bit of that sweet headiness that a true Gardenia has. But if you just want a really strong, like heavy Gardenia fragrance, then Rainforest Gardenia is that. So I still really enjoy the fragrance. Awesome heady white floral. So there's that. And speaking of awesome heady white florals, Suntan is also an online exclusive. I have like the super old version from 2014 right here. And this one is Bright Sun, Warm Sand, Orange Flower, Yuzu, and Coconut Husk. And oh my God, this is amazing. This was like back before Bath & Body Works was on their grocery store candle kick and they were creating more like sophisticated fragrances because of course this is a Slacken & Co fragrance from way back when. Smells literally just like you're putting on like traditional sunscreen on your body. It's excellent. It literally smells like you're like going to the beach or the water park or wherever it is and putting on sunscreen. I love it. It just like transports you to summer. It's usually what the perfect summer candle smells like. It's usually just suntan. Heaps of that like orange flower, orange blossom note in there that definitely gives it that like floral lotion-y quality to it. It literally smells just like sunscreen. There's nothing more else to say about that, and I love it. So Suntan, highly recommend. This is like one of my favorite fragrances of all time. I just don't pick it up or haul it anymore because I just have so many of like the original versions from when they used to be out in store, whereas now it's an online exclusive. But if you're like jonesing for a awesome floral, like beachy sunscreen type fragrance, then Suntan can't come highly recommended enough. So that was that. Let's see, fresh bamboo I smelled because my mother was burning it at her house and it's so strong. Oh my God, strong as ever, like a large open concept area, and it was just like suffocating us. I can't even say that one's really guest friendly because it's so immensely strong and like, whoa, like headache inducing at some point. So rest assured that if you like fresh bamboo, they haven't watered it down at all because that one was so immensely strong. So just a little tidbit on that. And I believe that is it. So hopefully this was helpful to you in some way. I feel like I've been kind of MIA recently, but there's just really nothing that really tickles my fancy lately. So it's just kind of like just burning through my candles and just going to town like a non-influencer on my own candles and not really making any videos about it. I just fingers crossed that there's like newness that's supposed to drop with this sale. I smelled fresh lemon waves that the friend had, and it smells amazing. It smells just like vanilla, not just like, but very, very similar to vanilla beach flower, if you remember that, or vanilla blossom, it used to be called as well. Very heady white floral, which is very strange for the name fresh and lemon waves, but they know people don't like floral, so they have to mask it in a deceptive name to get it to sell. But fresh lemon waves is what I'm gunning for, and I really want that ice lemon pound cake as well. Hoping some of that drops this sale, but we'll see. If not, I'm totally content with my collection. I'll just go through my empties like I have been. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what your favorite candles were or what your least favorite candles were, what you plan on buying for the sale, what new ones you're looking forward to. Leave it all in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.